Hello Year 6, welcome to your maths video for Wednesday. So before we get started for today, I have got a different kind of starter for you. We've done Beat It for a couple of days this week, so I thought we'd mix it up today. And I want you to have a go at finding the imposter among these questions. Okay, so we've had a go at something similar to this in school before, so you should be quite familiar with it. So I want you to go through, work out the maths. If it's right, then they're fine. If it's wrong, then they are an imposter. Okay, so I think you will be fine with most of this maths. This one is 5 cubed. So remember, you've got to do 5 times 5 and then times your answer by 5. And don't forget, this bottom one, you can use your known facts, can't you? So if you know what 18 divided by 6 is, you can use that to help you. And remember, there is only one imposter. So if you find a couple that are wrong, then just double check your maths. Okay, so I'll move out the way now so that you can pause the video and have a go at those. Don't forget to take a quick picture of your working out to show me how you got on with your starter today. Okay, so moving on then to your work for today, and we are finally today going into our Year 6 stretch book. Okay, so we've pretty much finished all of the pages in our workout book. So we're moving on to this one, and our learning question is, can I read and interpret line graphs on pages 72 and 73? Okay, we've done a little bit of work on line graphs recently and data in general, and you've done really, really well. But I just want to make sure we're definitely secure in this area before we move on to something new. Okay, so before you even turn to page 72 and look in your book, I have got a line graph on my board for us to have a look at together. Okay, this isn't one from your book. This is a completely different one. So we're just going to have a look. So this is a line graph showing the growth of a sunflower. Okay, so it was planted on the 30th of Saturday the 30th down here, and then it's been measured every 2 days. Okay, so you'll notice here it's not going up every day, it's going up in 2 days. And then up the side here, we've got our height in centimetres. Okay, so if you were asked a question on this line graph, such as, how tall was the sunflower on Wednesday the 17th? You would go along to Wednesday the 17th, you'd then follow it up, make sure you are accurate, and then follow it along, and your answer would be 10 centimetres. Okay, you might get one the other way that says, on what day was the sunflower 14 centimetres tall? So you go up to 14, go along to where your point is, go down, and your answer would be Tuesday the 23rd. Okay, I just want to go over with you these parts. So there we've got two horizontal lines, and we've got a horizontal line here as well. Okay, so if you had a question that said something like, name a day that the sunflower didn't grow, you would be able to name one of these days. So here, Monday the 15th, it hasn't grown, has it, since the 2 days before? Okay, so this is quite common with line graphs, that you'll have some horizontal lines. So for example, if you had a line graph showing somebody's walk over a certain period of time, if they had horizontal lines, then that would show they'd stopped, okay, because they've not gone any further, they've not walked, the sunflower's not got any taller, so it's not grown, okay, so it's stopped. So that's something to bear in mind for your line graph work today. Okay, so in your book then, turn to page 72 and let's have a look at it together. So I've snipped the line graph from your book and popped it on my board so that we can have a look at it. And it says, a lift visits every floor in a building over a 4-minute period. The height of a lift is shown on the graph below. So before I even look at my questions, I'm going to have a quick look at my graph and just make sure I understand what's happening. So my line here then is showing the lift. Okay, so it's going up, comes down a little bit, then it comes back down, doesn't it, to the beginning. Okay, so up here then, we've got our height in meters, and it's going up in intervals of 5. And then along the bottom, we've got our time in seconds, and it's going up in 30-second intervals. Okay, let's have a look at our question then. It says the ground floor of the building is at 0 meters. How many other floors does the building have? Now, this is key information. The ground floor is at 0 meters, and this is key, other floors. Okay, so I'm just going to here put myself a little reminder. I'm just going to put a G for ground. So I remember that 0 is the ground floor. Okay, so it's asking us how many other floors the building has. So we're not counting ground floor. Okay, it's asking for how many other floors. Now, just like I said on our line graph before, this has got some horizontal lines. Now, that tells me that the lift isn't getting any higher during those points. It's stopped. Okay, so if the lift has stopped, when does a lift stop? It stops when it's at a floor, doesn't it, to let people in or out. So this then must be the first floor. Okay, this then is going to be the second. This is going to be the third. Now here, these two, it stopped again here, but they are all exactly in line with this one. So they are all going to be the same floor. So be careful. Don't count that one 3 times. Okay, and remember, don't count the ground floor. Okay, you have a go at that one then. The next one then says, what is the distance between the first floor and the third floor? I'm going to write it on again, that this is the ground floor. Okay, don't forget that. So if the ground floor then is the very, very bottom. So your key information here is first floor and third floor. Okay, so if the ground floor is the very, very bottom, so the first floor is the one just up from the ground floor. Okay, so that's going to be your first floor, and it's asking us for our answer in meters. It's asking for the distance in meters, not time, meters. So work out what this is in meters. So this is 5 meters. Go up and work out what the third floor is in meters, and then work out your difference. If you work out the difference, that will tell you the distance between the 2 floors. Okay. The next one then says, how long did the lift spend at the second floor during these 4 minutes? Okay, so remember, the 4 minutes is the whole graph. Okay, so the second floor then, remember this is the ground, this is the first, this is the second. So the second floor is when it stopped 3 different times. Okay, so you've got to work out what one of these squares is in time. So if 2 squares is 30, think about what 1 square will be, and then you've got to multiply that by 3 to work out how many minutes it stayed there for the whole time. Sorry, it doesn't have to be minutes. Just multiply it by 3 and then write your answer. Okay, on your next page then, you have got a different graph, and this graph does look a little bit more confusing because it's got 2 different lines on. So this one says, Alistair draws a graph showing how much money he has earned and how much he has spent each month. Okay, let's have a look at the graph then. So we've got 2 different lines. We've got a solid black line that tells us how much money he's earned. So that's how much money he has got, how much money he has been given. And you've got a dotted line that tells you how much money he has spent. Okay, so here we're going up in amount of money. We're going up in multiples of 10. And along the bottom, we've got our months. Okay, going from January to July. So let's have a look at our question. In which month did he spend more money than he earned? Okay, so I'm just going to look at February as an example. So in February, so the dotted line is how much money he spent. In February, he spent £20. Okay, but he earned £40. So that one doesn't fit our answer, does it? It's asking us in which month did he spend more than he earned. But here, he's earned more, hasn't he? Okay, so you need to go through the months and see which month where he's spent more than he's earned. Okay, your next one then on the same graph says, did Alistair spend more money than he earned over the 6 months? And it does say, show your working in the box. So for this one, you're going to have to work out how much money he's earned each month and add it up. And you're going to have to work out how much money he's spent each month, add it up, and then figure out whether he's earned or spent more over those 6 months. So for example, if you're doing the money earned one, that one's a point, that one's a point, that one, and that one. So if you work out how much money he has earned at each point and add them together, and then do the same for the money spent line. Okay? So that is all of your work on your 2 pages. You have got a little bit of a challenge question at the bottom of page 73, but you can really only have a go at that if you've got some squared paper at home. Okay, so, or if you could print off some graph paper, that'd be great. You could have a go at that, but don't worry too much. If you can't have a go at that one, I have got a challenge question for you to have a go at instead, or as well as if you're a hard worker. So you can turn to page 78, which is just a few pages along. Okay. And it's question 8. Okay, so when you turn to page 78, you'll notice that question 8 is a line graph question, and it looks like this one. Okay, so it says the temperatures at the top of a mountain and at the bottom of a valley over one day are shown on the graph below. So very similar to the graph we've just looked at. You've got a dotted line and a solid line. So the dotted line is the valley, and the solid line is the mountain. Okay, you've got 2 questions to answer, so you should be able to apply what we've just learnt in the lesson before to this question. So it says, for how many minutes was the temperature in the valley lower than the temperature in the mountain? So you're going to have to figure out at every point which points the temperature in the valley was lower than the temperature in the mountain and add them together. And then the next one says, the local tourist information office says that the difference between the temperature in the valley and on the mountain was never more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. Is this true? So you're going to have to go through your graph, find out whether it's true, and then make sure you explain your answer. You are going to have to explain your answer in words. Okay? So I think you are all going to do absolutely brilliantly with your line graph work for today. So remember, do pages 72 and 73, and then have a go at your challenge question 8 on page 78. Okay, so don't forget to send me some pictures of your work for today. I look forward to seeing how you get on. See you tomorrow.